All right, Chris, the divisional round is here, so I want to talk about the teams most likely to get upset this weekend. Now, I don't know if I'm the best source for this because I expected the Saints to wipe the floor at the Vikings, and we both saw how that went, but I'm going to take a stab at it, so let's go. At number 3, I have the Titans at Baltimore. Now, I understand that it's always tricky if you haven't faced the Ravens yet in the season because, man, Lamar Jackson is something special, but something can be said for them not seeing Derrick Henry yet because that dude is a monster, and I think the blueprint to beating Baltimore is what the Browns were able to do to him earlier this season where Nick Chubb had like 20 carries, 165 yards, and 3 tubs against him. If the Titans can do that in Baltimore, man, it may be an upset. At number 2, I have probably 2 of the best quarterbacks of their generation, Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers up in Green Bay. Now, both of these quarterbacks, when they face each other, they're undefeated at home, but man, Russ, man, as long as you got Russ, you got a chance. Now at number 1, Minnesota at San Francisco. Now, the Niners have been kind of shaky at home. Now, they got beat by the Falcons. They've been giving up some yardage in the run game, and what Dalvin Cook was able to do against the Saints was something special, and I don't really know if San Francisco has a home field advantage. Now, I understand they have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but does that really mean that they have like a home field advantage where the crowd is just imposing? They don't really have any playoff experience.
Yeah, well, I hear you. I'd like to know what your answer would have been before you saw Minnesota go into New Orleans, though, okay?
Right.
I think you're being a little recency biased, all right? But, all right, I hear you. I got my list, too. There's only one game I look at for upset, really. There's only one. I'll try to sell 2 others, okay, for the sake of making a list here. All right, my number 3, I'm going to that 49ers-Vikings games. You mentioned a lot of the good points. 49ers defense has fallen apart a little bit in the month of December. Dalvin Cook's ability to run the football, that definitely scares me. Jimmy Garoppolo, first playoff game. You're right. We don't really know what that 49ers home field advantage is going to look like. The second one, the Texans, the Chiefs. Okay, yeah, the Texans beat the Chiefs already this year.
Yeah.
Now, they're dangerous, especially if Kenny Stills and Will Fuller are healthy. I mean, as we know, Deshaun Watson, he's special. I mean, he's in that conversation for best quarterback in the league. So I certainly think he's capable of going in there and making that happen. And I know he won there already this year. But my big thing is the Chiefs are a different team now than they were at that point during the season. The only one I really believe an upset can take part, and it was on your list, is Russell Wilson, Seahawks, Packers. I mean, I know you're watching all this stuff like me. The Packers are like one of the shakiest number 2 seeds I've ever seen than I can remember. We know that Seahawks defense is going to be physical and always kind of rises to the occasion. And Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, they fear nobody. They're not scared of anybody. So that's the one I look at big time as far as being an upset this weekend.
And they've had to lean on Aaron Jones heavy, dog. And like we've seen glimpses of the old Aaron Rodgers, but who was that against? The Raiders, and we know how bad that pass defense was. It was when they went to, New York and they played the Giants pass defense. So, I mean, will they be able to do that in the playoffs, and will he be able to match up pass for pass, touchdown for touchdown with Russell Wilson? I don't know. And the reason why I didn't have Houston and KC on the list is just because I feel like KC is playing some of their best ball right now. And like you said, like Houston went in there and they won early in the season, but I don't think there's any way in hell that they can go in there and replicate that going into Arrowhead in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. And listen, I know you got the Ravens and the Titans game on the list too, just to hit that because I didn't talk about it. But, I mean, I just feel like 2 weeks off, the Ravens are rolling. I mean, Lamar Jackson's going to have 2 rockets up his butt with the fresh legs flying around the field. And, man, those Ravens, you want to talk about big boys up front. I mean, I feel like they are built to slow down the Derrick Henry run game. So we'll see. As you can tell, I don't like any of the upsets this weekend. The only one I got any belief in is Seattle on the road because I've seen them do that. They're battle-tested, and you mentioned some of the flaws with that Green Bay team, and I'm right there with you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.